Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we'll need to review our risk disclosure. So we'll go ahead and do that. We just want to remind everyone that the content is being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice or an offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company's partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell, recommend to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. Good morning, Carrie. So we're going to go ahead now and now turn our attention to the news that could impact us in the markets today. So we're going to go ahead and open up our financial news portal here, Financial Juice. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and take a look at, see what news that we have in the markets or coming into the markets. No, Carrie, it's somewhere in that window between 8:30 and 8:45. It really depends on how it takes me to get up and ready here. Okay. All right. As early as 5:30, as late as 8:45. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what news we have. No worries. No worries. So we've already gotten some news that probably has already impacted the markets to some degree. We have US PPI year over year, month over month. We also have core PPI reporting here year over year, month over month. We have initial jobless claims and continued jobless claims also already have reported. So some pretty significant news events, which I suspect may have already moved the markets to a degree. And then later this afternoon, we have a couple of Fed members speaking. Here at 10 a.m., we have Fed member Muslim speaking, and then we have some scheduled remarks, although we're always at the mercy of some president remarks that could move the markets. And then we close out the day with a 2 p.m. Fed member Barkin speaking here. Okay. So looking ahead for tomorrow, we still have a fair amount of news. Fridays tend to be pretty strong news days. We have retail sales coming in tomorrow. We have some Michigan inflationary information that's coming in tomorrow. And then some looks like we have some OPEC meetings that could impact the crude oil market also coming in tomorrow, right? So not out of the woods necessarily with news here. Okay. So, and like I said, we've already had a fair amount of news that probably has already impacted the markets to some degree. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and turn our attention to our portal, and we'll get a sense here of what the news has already done to the markets here. Okay. So let's go ahead and locate our portal here. All right, let's open up this window here. Okay, bring this up. Here we go. All right, just this over here to some area here. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the gold market. The gold market is usually the market we start off with here, guys. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart. Again, daily chart really not giving us much of an indication here right now. Kind of developing a little bit of an indecisive candle here. Okay. So we started off the week rather bearish. We had a couple of I guess you can call them bullish candles, but not of the strong variety here, right? So again, we continue to remain inside this consolidation pattern that we've already drawn here, this kind of ascending wedge pattern, right? Again, we'll just go ahead and maybe use the arrows here to kind of indicate this, right? We have this kind of pattern that's kind of developing here, right? So we've already talked about this. We remain in some sort of consolidation pattern here in this market. Okay. See right here. Okay. So this kind of ascending wedge pattern. Okay. In an otherwise market that continues to go higher, right? So we continue to get higher highs and higher lows. We just appear to be in some sort of range here. Okay. All right. So daily chart, again, not really giving us, at least, I think maybe there was maybe an indication here that maybe we would rally given these couple of candles. But the more I look at these candles, the more I'm thinking that we're still in some sort of control, some sort of bearish control here. Okay. We have a rather large bearish candle. We talked about this 3-bar reversal pattern, this island top that we talked about. Okay. So looking at this, I still feel that there's still the possibility of gold continuing to the downside here. Okay. Maybe to come back and revisit yet again the bottom end of this ascending wedge. Okay. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Right. There's still that possibility before we continue to kind of work our way towards the apex of this wedge and ultimately break out of the range. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm feeling on the 4-hour. Moving down to the daily. Moving down to the 4-hour chart. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance range here for a second. Now you can see here, right, we had a fair number of bears, right, start of the week, right, fair number of bears kind of step into this market and drive price higher. This does not look like an impulsive move here, okay? This is kind of a consolidation pattern that could do one of two things, right? It can continue its move, right? That would align with the general direction, right? Or we can develop maybe a little bit of an area of support here. And yesterday we got a little bit of both, right? So this does appear to be somewhat supportive, right? We have not made a new low, right? We have not made a new low. So maybe there's an indication here that we could potentially rally from this location. We unfortunately we've been at this location the last couple of days here, right? First time we actually got a little bit of a rally, and overnight has brought us back to this level again. So again, given that we weren't able to make any sort of serious, not even a break of this current candle, leads me to believe that maybe there's still more strength here to the downside in this market. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, so there's that demand zone that we were talking about earlier. You can see that price is below our VWAP, right? Below our VWAP, below our settlement price. And we are getting a little bit of a reaction again on this area of support. Demand zone, right? So we had a nice push to the upside. It took quite a bit, right, for the buyers to come in and maybe step in and see if they can stop this bearish progress. Okay. So right now, like I said, we're looking at a market, right? If I'm starting from the open of the day till now, right, it does appear to me that there's a fair number of sellers in this market. Okay. So as long as we remain below VWAP, below settlement, I have to think a bit on the bearish side. But I also understand that this 3,400 level is an area that's relatively supportive, right? Okay. Interested, sort of keeping it capped. Why I keep learning more. Yeah, yeah, definitely am. Again, we just kind of have to kind of look and not so much trade the fundamentals, but let the chart let the charts speak to us, right? So again, I'm just kind of reading what the chart is telling me, right? We can't necessarily read fundamental news, right? We can't use fundamentals and kind of dictate to the market what it should do, right? So what we need to do as traders is look at the charts, remain open to all the possibilities, independent of what we expect things, right? What we might expect things to happen, right? So we can't imagine, like you said, we can't imagine, right, what we think should happen. We just need to look at the charts and let the charts kind of speak to us here, okay? All right, let's open up the fixed range volume profile here, and we'll take a look at, so today's Thursday, so we're going to go back to the start of Wednesday, drag that across to the close. Okay, so here we are, right? Price is below value from yesterday, indicating that there's a fair number of bears that are interested in taking this market lower, right? Price has opened to the downside, right? If I open up my initial balance here, you can see that price, right? This is, I believe, Asia, right? Asia took the market lower. Okay. London hasn't quite taken it lower, but it remained in range. So Asia brought it down. London has been kind of range bound, I guess, initially lower, but has been a bit more range bound. So now we're trying to figure out exactly which direction is the U.S. session going to take it. Now, are they going to potentially rally the market, right? There's maybe a potential rally in store here, right? Just because of the fact that we are so close to the edge, to this supportive zone. So I would say this 3,400 level remains an area of importance, right? So I'm kind of inclined to say, as long as we're above maybe 3,400, maybe 3,395, 3,397, then maybe I should be looking for opportunities to the upside in this market. As long as we remain below the VWAP, below settlement, then we should probably be thinking or considering maybe some continuation moves to the downside. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up our anchored VWAP just to give us this one last piece of information here on the sort of the general direction of the markets here. So I'm going to look for London, open here, put on my anchored VWAP, and you can see again, right? Price is below our settlement, below our VWAP, below our anchored VWAP from London. The only thing that maybe is kind of maybe causing me a little bit of pause here is the buying wick here, right? So this buying wick, someone is keeping price from going lower here, right? With this buying wick, and it's a relatively large buying wick, right? From 33.90 all the way up to 33.98. This is not a small move, okay? So there are people, right, that are interested in keeping this market above 3,400. Okay. So, and that's kind of evident here in the charts here. So headed into the market, again, I'm going to be seeking some additional information of the market. I'm going to wait for this initial balance range to establish, right? Yeah, this could very well be a news driven market. Yeah, this is definitely this candle is driven by news, no doubt, right? So now the question is, how does the market digest the news? Right now it said, okay, well, we are thinking of taking the market lower, and then we have some participants kind of step in and say they maybe have a different opinion on that. Okay, so again, I need to wait for additional information to tell me, right, which direction did they plan to take the market. The fact that I got this reaction, okay, indicates to me there is maybe an outside possibility that we continue higher, right? If we end up developing a little bit of a secondary demand zone here, okay, right above the area that we've already discussed, right, then maybe we continue to the upside. Again, I'm gonna let the candles dictate to me which direction they want to take the market. Right now, I'm seeing bearish action, right? Bearish price action. That's what I'm seeing. Sentiment, everything that we're looking at about the market is telling us lower. Okay. If we're thinking that a market is going to rally from here, we need to see price break some structure to the upside. We need price to begin to break the VWAP of London, the VWAP from daily, and then break above the initial balance high and get above settlement. So there's a lot of things that need to happen in order for us to change our view to bullish. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the crude oil market. Okay. Looking at the crude oil market, looks like we maybe are rallying here a little bit. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings. We're going to take a look and see what we're developing here. Okay. But we've been down this road before, right? Again, we're up against some areas of support here around 62. We are developing a bullish candle. Okay. Market is still a ways away from closing this candle off, but you're starting to see some evidence that we're starting to find some interest in these levels, right? So we had a bullish candle here. Sellers were still very strong. We got a little bit of reaction in yesterday's session, and now we're maybe in the midst of creating some sort of reversal pattern here, right? Possibility, but we've been down this road before, right? We had a 3-bar reversal pattern only to find some additional sellers. So daily is still telling us, even with a bullish close of this candle, we're still in bearish structure in crude oil. Okay. Moving down to the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance. Again, this is maybe we see that we are getting a little bit of a slowdown in momentum to the downside, right? We're starting to see more in the way of overlapping candles. The bulls are beginning to get a little bit of a foothold on this market. We're seeing that they're getting more and more control in their ability to move price to the upside. We're getting still a fair amount of pressure to the downside. You can look here at the volume delta, right? Volume delta is indicating that there's still a fair amount of selling pressure, but that's not translating to price at the moment. All this selling pressure is not translating to price heading lower. So there's possibility here. This is maybe indicating that we may have some sellers that are maybe trapped, maybe some trapped sellers here at the bottom of the range. Okay. And what does trap sellers mean? Well, trap sellers eventually are going to have to capitulate. And when they capitulate, they're going to do it quite quickly. And that could offer us maybe a little bit of a short squeeze that would lead price to head higher. Okay. Moving down to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, you can see, unlike what we were seeing in the gold market, is the opposite is true in crude, right? Well, the advances that the decline that we were seeing in gold, it seems to be translated into advances in the crude oil market, right? Fair number of buyers since the open of yesterday. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and locate our start of the session, drag that across to the close of the session here. And you can see that we have a fair number of bulls, right? There seems to be interest in taking this market higher. Again, this is like almost completely opposite of what we're seeing in the gold market, right? So we have indications here, right, that price is above our settlement, above our VWAP. And I suspect it's probably above our anchor VWAP that I'm about to draw here for London. Okay, so that's also above, right? All the indications here right now appear to be to the upside. We're about to and working our way to breaking above some structure here. If we manage to break and hold above, right? Well, this area of point of control offers us maybe a nice location to participate in a opportunity to the upside, assuming that we can hold above, right? Because we've been down this path before, right? We've tried to get higher, met with sellers. Tried to get higher, met with sellers. Try to get higher again, met with sellers. So are we going to see the same thing here, or is this going to be different? This is the fourth time. This is the fourth attempt at trying to get to higher prices. So it'll be interesting for me to see in the next 25 minutes whether we're able to close above this range. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the fixed range. Let's see. It's okay. Unfortunately, CL has been terrible about keeping higher pricing, but only market. Yeah, so we'll have to see, right? We're not going to read. We're just going to let the market kind of tell us. I know historically that crude oil has been a very poor market in holding its levels, right? But we're just kind of reviewing. Would you think it's more likely that it pushes through that level since he's tried? Yeah, the more attempts, the more attempts that we the more attempts that we test the level, the eventually it's going to break, right? Because what are we doing every time we come up to this level, right? Sellers have to step in to drive the market lower. Well, eventually we're going to run out of sellers, right? Eventually, there's going to be more buyers than sellers, and going to cause price to drive higher. Is which is what we're seeing right now, right? Okay, so we're developing a relatively strong bullish candle here. Now the question is, we're not out of the woods yet. I'm not convinced yet. Okay, I need to see this candle close, right? And I'm seeing it. It's closing with some volume to the upside. So this is a simply get okay of doing that small play may make more sense for them to unload at higher prices, or they get buyer. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're just gonna remain patient. Okay, we're gonna let price play out here, right? It's the first 30-minute bar of the initial balance range. We're not in any sort of rush to do anything here. Okay, let the participants that are trying to drive price higher, let them get a foothold of getting price above. Okay, then we come in maybe with a little bit of a pullback, and then we can look for maybe an opportunity to the upside. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I see in the markets here. Making sure I'm thinking about it correctly. It should be a key level to watch, but not to place limit orders, since it could go either way. Yes, it's not an area that I would necessarily place limit orders. I think this is, again, we've kind of been talking about this, that this market has been in some sort of range of late, but we are seeing, I guess, since the start of Wednesday, we're starting to see some stronger momentum here to the upside. Okay, am I ready to just place a sell order here? No, right? I'm more inclined to maybe look to follow this path to the upside, but I'm going to let this candle kind of dictate to me which direction they want to take this. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at the equity markets here, guys. But before I do, again, just want to encourage people to hit the likes, hit the subscribes, make a comment or two on the portal on how this analysis is benefiting you. Okay, so I'm seeing some participation here, a lot of participation from a couple, which is always very well. I'm thankful for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the equity markets here. Equity markets are showing a little bit of signs here, so that kind of making me believe maybe that we might see maybe something in the way of a rally here in the gold markets, because there are like inversely correlated, right, markets here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. Okay, so we are in the beginning stages of developing maybe a 3-bar kind of pattern here, reversal pattern, where it looks like we're in the midst of doing that. Okay, so again, we need to wait. We need to wait to see what kind of candle we end up getting here. But nonetheless, again, we continue to be in a market that continues to shine to the upside. Right? We have a nice bullish candle here to the upside. So this could merely be a little bit of a pullback for a move that continues to the upside. Right? We've been down this path before. Right? We get a nice bullish candle. We get a little bit of a retracement followed by another bullish candle. So we'll have to see if we break below, right, this channel that I've drawn here, then maybe we can consider maybe that we can maybe stay in some sort of range, and that we get a swing back to the point of control down below. All right, no problem, Alejandro. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, you can see we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that we're on the lower end of this channel, right? But we've been down on the lower end of this channel before. Okay. Yeah, the basically was a reaction of those inflationary numbers. Okay. Okay, so you're kind of waiting for some sort of opportunity to the long side. Okay, fair enough. So if I'm a buyer of this market, right, on the 4-hour chart, we're probably looking at a level right around here, right? Looking at a level here around 2370, 23,770, maybe as low as 23,630. This whole area is an area where we could see some buyers, right? We want to follow what the participants are going to do here. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Again, kind of need to kind of navigate this with about 20 minutes remaining of the mark before the market open. Again, I'm going to go ahead and turn off this channel that I have drawn here. Now, again, as a result of the news, right, we got a strong little push here to the downside in this market. Now, is this push going to attract more buyers? Or is this going to continue to the downside? Okay, right now we'll have to see, right? As long as price remains below our VWAP, then our sentiment has to be to the downside. All right, as long as price remains below maybe 50% of this candle here, right? Yeah, so you could take this candle right here, and certainly you can do a Fibonacci analysis here, right, top to bottom, right? And there's the 50% range right around this 23,880, right? If this is indeed going to continue to the downside, you would expect that it would continue right around the 50% retracement of this candle. I agree 100%. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and open up the let's see. The initial balance is a little bit early. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here. Okay. We're going to take a look and see what Wednesday had to offer with respect to value here, where price is in relation. So it appears to me that we've been a bit range bound, okay, in the equity markets. Okay. So now with that news event, right? Up until that news event, we were in range from yesterday, right? The market was expecting some sort of news to come in. It got the news and sold off. Okay. Now, was that an overreaction? We'll have to see, right, with the open of the initial balance here, right, and see where participants are willing to take the market, right? Now, is the 50% retracement a good level for a continuation move to the downside? Absolutely. Okay. Is the area where VWAP here around 23,891? That's also another area, right, where we can manage our risk and we have a reference level to define the opportunity. Okay. So market has been up till now bullish. Okay. Now we have a indication that a number of sellers stepped into the market. Okay. Now the question is this going to be sustained? That's the question here, right? So like I said, we're about 15 minutes away from this initial balance range to begin to establish here. So we'll have to wait for that to take place. Okay. And then we can move from there. But there's many ways. Yeah, there's many ways to trade this. I would say the key to all of this is that we need to remain patient, right? We need to remain patient and again, let the market kind of tell us which direction they want to take this market. All right. I'm going to go ahead and add our anchored VWAP to this discussion. Again, like I said, London really wasn't Asia and London really didn't offer us much in the way of indication as to where they wanted to take this market. But with this news event, we got a strong kind of indication that maybe with the news that maybe there's an interest in driving price lower here. Okay. So we have some visual targets here, right? Price is below settlement. All right. We had two settlement prices here in a row that really didn't advance the cause for the bulls here all that much. Okay. Now we had a bearish candle that broke a lot of structure here to the downside. Is there going to be a sense of urgency for sellers to continue to drive this down? That's what we're looking for, right? So VWAP 50% retracement would be some areas that we should be looking at, right? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the ES here. Okay, so ES similar kind of look and feel. Okay, daily chart again. We're getting a reversal candle as a result of that news event. Okay, but again, are we necessarily out of the woods here of bulls? No. All we've really done is remain in the channel here to the upside. We're still in a bullish channel to the upside. We have not, even with the daily candle, have not broken below the low end of this channel. So we're in a bullish channel. So while we're getting some indication as a result of that news event that they want to maybe take this market lower, they would have to break below this channel for me to really start to turn my attention to maybe looking for more short opportunities. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart again. We remain in the channel here, a bullish channel to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this a little bit because I like tightening this up as to, and get as many touches of bodies of candles as I can. Right. I'm not interested in the wicks. Right. I'm interested in yeah, VWAP is also another yeah, VWAP would be another indication of sentiment. Okay, all right, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart again, I'm going to go ahead and remove our drawings. Again, we see that price has left settlement. Okay, we've also gotten below settlement price from what was this, Tuesday? Okay, and then now we're driving price below. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here, but I think you're going to get a sense here that same kind of conclusion that we concluded on the NASDAQ, right? Price is below, right? Below value from yesterday, okay, indicating that there's a fair amount of interest as a result of the news to take the market lower. Okay. Now the question is, now it's kind of stalled around this area here around 64.62. Okay, got as low as 64.54. Now the question is going to become: is this going to kind of stabilize here? And if it stabilizes, is it going to rally? And how far is this rally going to go? Right now, I guess what Coach Jay would call the urgency play, right, would be kind of looking to see if we get some sort of retracement back up to the VWAP range, and that could offer us maybe an opportunity to the downside. So yes, as long as price remains below VWAP, I would say that we have to continue to look for opportunities to the downside. All right. Looking at the anchored VWAP. Okay, anchored VWAP for London. Again, I don't think it's going to offer us much more than what we already know. Okay, in this market, because we had a very range bound market, right? There's going to be an interesting opening bell. There's equity below settlement. Yes, exactly. Price is below our settlement price. And that is not just below our settlement price from yesterday. It's below our settlement price from a couple of days ago as well, right? So we have a nice visual target, right? Nice visual target here, right? For price to reach, right? If people are looking for an area to drive price to, well, if we do manage to get below this 64.61 level, it opens the door for price to come as low as 64.12, maybe as low as 6,400. Okay, so we're at an important area in this market. Okay, so we're at the edge of this value range on the visible range volume profile here. Okay, nice area maybe to consider a long, but given this price action right now, I need more information before I'm willing to stake any capital on whatever direction it's planning to go here. Okay. All right. Let's take a look now at the YM. We'll then go through and summarize all the markets. Again, not a surprise that we're seeing consistency across all these markets of the same kind of look and feel here. Looking at the daily, we're seeing the same kind of price action here. I would say that the Dow, is still a market that has not made the same advances as some of these other markets, right? So it's a bit lagging, I would say. Okay, so still in an area where we could potentially find some sellers up here at this with this supply area that I've drawn here. Okay, so it is developing a bearish candle. Okay, so again, we'll have to see exactly. And now it has a ways away, right? If I'm looking at this, right? If I'm looking at this as kind of my channel here, right? We're at the upper end of the channel. Would not it's not going to break any structure here and to see maybe a retest of this lower end of the channel and still be in a bullish market here. Okay, so again, daily, I would say that maybe it's a little bit more range, maybe bullish of late here in the Dow. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, you can see as a result of the news here, right? We got a nice strong candle that maybe spoiled a lot of hopeful buyers here up at the highs here. Okay, the price dropped here pretty good here, right? 150 points down, right? In this market. Okay, so again, developing a little bit of a maybe maybe some bearish structure that could maybe lead to further bearish movement to the downside. All right. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Again, looking at the 30-minute chart, we can see, right? Okay. Now, unlike the other equity markets, maybe we are developing something that would lead us to maybe a little bit of a what kind of gap has been left here, right? We're up at these levels in the equity market, in the NASDAQ and the ES. The Dow has given us something that has the potential of maybe potentially filling this gap, all right, down here, right? So yeah, and there's a relatively high volume though. There's a lot of volume at the low of this at the low here, right? So the Dow, okay, looks to me more like a market that could offer us a nice downside move, okay, to this 44,545 level. I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the open of the market here to the close. Okay, so you can see, right, we were above, right, above value. We got the news event, and now we're back inside value. We've already come to the other side of value here. Now the question is going to become is, do they have the participants to drive price further lower? Okay, are we going to fill this gap? We have a pretty strong I guess a lot of volume, a lot of holes. The volume profile looks a bit toothy, as Coach Hogue would say. Okay, I need to frame out my thinking or something. These near all-time highs freak me out. I'll perhaps maybe MYM and YM have the secret. The gap fill trade. Yeah. So gap fill. Yeah. I think there's the possibility of a gap fill, right? Again, settlement price. We are in an area where we could find some support and market could indeed turn around here. Okay. Value area low could offer us maybe a reversal in price. So I want us to remain open to that as well, right? So if we manage to get below this value, then I would say that the next logical location is for price to traverse and head to volume, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's kind of do one little final pass here, guys, across all the markets and just kind of get a feel here. So again, looking at the gold market is looking a bit on the bearish side here. Okay, I'm looking at the initial balance here. Relatively wide initial balance range, but we are in some sort of bearish structure here. Okay, I'm going to remove some of my drawings here. Okay, so heading into the market, I would say that the gold market looks bearish. Okay, that's what I'm kind of seeing. Crude oil, okay, looking a bit bullish. Okay, so we got again, this candle is probably going to close here in the next 5 minutes. Is this going to offer us an extension? Okay, or is this going to offer us some of the same kind of what we've been seeing before? This candle feels a little bit different than what we've seen here. Okay, this candle feels a little bit different. Looking at the volume is also pretty strong. So I don't know. Maybe this is the attempt to get out of this range. Okay, so we'll have to see how this candle closes, but the market does appear to be a little bit on the bullish side. Okay, equities. Okay, right now, we're coming into some areas of some prior balance areas, right? Initial balance from a couple of days ago that could offer us maybe an area of support. The news was not received well. Okay. We had a little bit of a sell-off in the market. Now the question becomes, is this going to be a continuation for the rest of the day? Okay, are we going to continue lower? Okay, or do we have the potential, all right, maybe using this level here as maybe an area for price to rally? But I would say going into it, I would say that we're looking a little bit on the bearish side. Okay, ES giving us the same information, right? Looks bearish. Okay, and the Dow, all are pretty much aligned with a continuation to the downside. Okay, yeah, that's a previous IBE high level from Tuesday, right down here, right? If we go back to the Nasdaq, right? So it's kind of flirting, right? This level here, right? Right. So this is another logical area, right? This is a previous initial balance high from Tuesday. Okay. So again, we reacted away, right? Now we're at a IB high. So is this going to be an area that offers us maybe a little bit of a bounce? We'll have to see when the market opens here. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys. Again, if you have not smashed the likes, smash the subscribes, provided a comment or two in the portal on how this analysis is benefiting your trading, please do so. Okay. Equities now bearish until we can bulls jump in. Roger that. Thank you, coach. Okay. All right, guys. That's pretty much what I have for you. Yeah, we need to see if we are going to turn the tide. Right now, the tide is bearish. If we're going to turn the tide, I'd like to see price get above, at minimum, above some of this VWAPs here, right? We have London and daily, right? So if we are going to reverse here, I'd like to see price hold above this VWAP. If we can hold above VWAP, then maybe there's a rally in the horizon for this market. Okay. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you again for all your support. Continue to hit the likes and the subscribes. Make a comment or two on the portal on how this analysis is supporting you. And as we close this session and other sessions, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon. You're welcome, Em.